Okay, so welcome to Advanced Garments Designing and Construction, Module 7, Net and Narrow. The world of haute couture is so elite and exclusive that many designers feel they need to allude to it in their work, if not aspire to it. So although it has a very narrow audience, couture has a compelling allure because that audience is composed of some of the richest, most famous, and most powerful fashion clients in the world. So sabi nga natin dati or noong past discussions natin na ang haute couture ay high fashion which is limited lang dun sa mga kayang i-afford yun. So, this niche crowd certainly has its perks if only by association. So, serving this aristocratic caste of couture will often come with critical acclaim but not always economic success. So, nasabi rin natin dati na though magaganda yung mga nilalabas nila sa mga fashion houses na mga garments, na mga designs, ay hindi naman mataas yung balik ng income sa kanila or nung return of investment nila doon sa gagastusin nila. So, fashion designers who support their visionary projects with more mainstream creations are the ones who have the staying power. And then, ready to wear reaches the people en masse. So, after nung haute couture, meron ng mga ready to wear. So, ito naman yung tinatawag nating pret-à-porter. So, the only limitations when serving vast numbers are manufacturing outlets and developing products that have mass appeal. So, aside from sa haute couture, which is limited lang siya sa mga mayayaman or mga kayang i-afford yon, okay, ito namang ready-to-wear is in general for public. So, casting such a wide net not only generates greater sales but also builds name recognition. So, kapag kayo na ay magpro-produce in general or for public, okay, hindi lang sales nyo yung lumalaki, kundi pati yung inyong pangalan. So, nakikilala na siya ng lahat. So, just because it's off the rack doesn't mean it cannot have great influence. And then, next, disposable as investment. So, non-textile projects are commonly used to stretch a fashion designer's creative muscles. So, the exploration of this type of wearable art involves a great deal of experimentation. So, yung past lesson natin, so nasabi nga natin nun na meron tayong mga ginagamit na non-textile projects. So, pwedeng pagkain siya, pwedeng mga coins, tea bags. So, yung mga nakakain, tinatawag din natin siyang edible garments. But, what are the objects of choices? How will they be assembled or woven into surface? So, how will components such as the bodice, skirt, and sleeve be put together? What kind of method of closure will be devised? So, the final product takes shape as a form sculpted to fit the body and mimic traditional apparel. So, gagayahin mo na yung design ng skirt. So, ibabase mo siya dun sa fit or dun sa shape ng katawan ng model mo. So, depending on the nature of the raw materials in a garment of this category, it might not have a long lifespan. At tissue paper gowns, they are numbered. So, why invest in such a disposable piece of fashion? So, the novelty and artistic value of garments made out of paper bags, plastic spoons, or duct tape are inherent, but there is a greater value to be found. So, the results of bringing fashion design sensibilities to non-traditional projects include unexpected problem-solving methods. So, compositions, color schemes, texture, and construction solutions that might not have otherwise being used to create conventional clothing become apparent. So, a new set of skills and a fresh perspective can kick a start collection. So, sabi nga natin, ang fashion designers ay innovative. So, pwede nilang gawin or pwede silang mag-organize ng mga designs na gumagamit ng non-textile materials. Okay, so, code non-textile projects plus 4 PM this to me. And then next, let's proceed to environmental context. So, geographical regions develop a style of their own. So, parang dito sa ating bansa, di ba? So, sabihin na lang natin na magkakaiba tayo ng cultures and tradition. So, parang nung first semester, di ba, may na-discuss tayo na history of national costume dito sa Pilipinas. So, each region magkakaiba yon base sa kultura at history nung lugar na yon. So, ganun din dito sa didiscuss natin ngayon. So, for example, is in the United States alone. So, meron tayong dalawa. The North and South have distinctly divergent tastes for clothing, while the West Coast and the East Coast have very different takes of the definition of fashion. So, merong iba't ibang klase ng fashion na gusto nila. Okay? May iba't iba rin silang definition kung ano nga ba yung fashion. And then, the Midwest has another standard of style altogether. Instead of making value judgments about the worthiness of a certain sensibility, a good designer will delve into the roots of these assessments system form. So, these foundations are usually based on the many aspects of an environment that would color our choices. So, historical events, cultural influences, geography, and climate. When this concept is extended globally, there are even subtler differences to be studied. So, gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, so, nandun na rin, kasali na rin dyan yung climates. Kung ano nga ba yung klase ng tela, fabric, color of choices na ilalagay ng fashion designer para masatisfy niya yung magiging clients niya. So, a good fashion compass will help uncover the reasons for understanding why a wardrobe of black has become synonymous with urban settings. Gaya na lang sa New York. So, it is the inclination to adopt such a dark palette as a practical choice. So, is the overall look give you an edge when dealing with the gritty realities of the city? So, what is the explanation for an inclination toward bright colors and bold patterns in the South? Does the weather play a part in it? Do these choices reflect the landscape? This examination assists designers in delivering their product to a market that is already prone to receive it well. So, kaya nga tayo nagdi-design, or yung mga designers, they design for the satisfaction of their customers. So, hindi na dictated ang fashion at saka yung design. Okay? So, nandun na yun sa mga consumers. Ano nga ba yung mag-click dun sa lugar na iyon at ano yung hindi. Okay, next code is geographical regions plus 3. PM this to me. Next, we have collaboration. So, a creative collaboration can result in designs that are more complex and innovative than those that original from a singular vision. So, nagkakaroon na dito ng multiple perspective. So, sabi nga natin nun, 2 heads is better than 1. So, here are some famous may mga collaboration sila. Victor Horsting and Rolf Snoren, Lazaro Hernandez and Jack Macallo, Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana, Kate and Laura Moliavi, and Isabel and Ruben Toledo. Okay, first we have Victor Horsting and Rolf Snoren. So, of Victor and Rolf, they met while studying fashion at the Arnhem Academy of Art and Design in the Netherlands. So, their team approach to fashion to continue to surprise and charm the fashion elite. So, the following are examples of their designs for fashion runways. So, kung napapansin nyo dyan, gumagamit sila ng non-textile, gaya na lang nung nandito sa right side. Yan. Okay, next code. Collaboration Victor Rolf plus 5. PM this to me. Then next we have Lazaro Hernandez and Jack Macallo. So, Parsons School of Design in New York City was where they have met. So both studied before going on to form the label Provenza Scholler. So this name keeps all the family, their family, originating from the maiden names of both their mothers. So here are some of the designs of Macalo and Hernandez. Next, we have Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana. So they met while they are working for the same design firm in Milan, Italy, and are now the force behind Italian luxury house Dolce and Gabbana. So a multi-million-dollar fashion empire. So they are still well known as of today. So here are some of their designs. And then, siblings camaraderie, not rivalry, is at the heart of the sister team Kate and Laura Malievi for Rodarte. So, this is a company also named after their mother's maiden name. They have collaborated with The Gap as well as Target, providing they understand how to interface well with others. So, here are some of their designs for Rodarte. And then lastly, power couple Isabel and Ruben Toledo represent the husband and wife duo that impact culture on multiple fronts. So Isabel is a fashion designer while Ruben is an artist. So here are some of Ruben's illustration and Isabel's design. Next, let's proceed to building and breaking templates. So, establishing standards provide a fashion designer with reference points. So, finding the middle is important. The average should not be considered a death sentence to creativity when it is positioned at as the starting point. So, once specifications are in place, understood and respected, a designer can bend, if not break, all the rules. So, 'di ba minsan meron na tayong sinasabing na ay ito yung trend ngayon. Okay, wag mo daw isipin na hanggang dun ka lang sa trend na yon. Pwede mong baguhin, i-innovate, i-develop yung trend na yon para makapaggawa ka ng bago or makasimula ka ng bago. So, the basic sloper is employed as a foundation for flat pattern making because it contains all the vital measurements to build a pattern that will correspond to the body it is being designed for. So, sloper, ito na yung tinatawag natin na basic na pattern or block pattern natin. So, kaya importante na kapag nagme-measure tayo ng mga body parts, dapat accurate lahat. So, with those measurements in place, almost any modification is possible while still keeping the function and fit of the garment grounded in reality. A fitting muslin is a garment that can be used in such or in much the same way. This garment is constructed so that a designer can manipulate the design and customize the fit. So, yung sinasabi niya na dito na ginagamitan ng muslin, so parang nagde-drape na rin siya, 'di ba? Yung parang makikita mo na dati yung fit nung garment dun pa lang sa may dress form. So, pwede mo pa siyang baguhin yung sizes niya para maging well-fitted yung garment. And then, good croquis figures are based on the proportions of the human body. So, sabi nga natin nun, yung croquis is yung ating sketches. So, meron tayong mga proportions dyan. So, when the relationship between parts of the body are maintained, the figure can be exaggerated to extremes without risking abstraction. So, the transformation may reflect the designer's style, tendencies, but the finished product will remain recognizable. So, next code, good croquis plus 5 PM this to me. Next, we have rendering media. So, fashion renderings are usually created in pencil, marker, or paint. So, depende kung ano yung gusto mong gamitin na medium. Pwede kang mag-sketch, rough draft, pwede mo rin siyang i-paint. So, today, the pixel is another medium for drawing fashion with the aid of computer software. Since meron na nga tayong technology, development, and advancement, nowadays, ang ginagamit na ng mga fashion designers, fashion illustrators are yung mga computer-aided softwares para gumawa ng design. So, whether it's a fashion note on a napkin, style schematics in a notebook, or fashion shorthand in chalk on a chalkboard, the goal is the exchange of ideas. So, yung naiisip mo ba is yun ba yung kaya mong ilagay doon? Ganon. Yun ba yung ito-drawing mo, mailalabas mo ba yung iniisip mo through your illustration. So, there is a mystique around the art of fashion as though only a select few are entitled to even attempt to create it. So, hindi kasi lahat daw ng fashion designers are illustrators. So, although not everyone who sits down to draw will produce art to rival the work of Steven Stippelman or Antonio Lopez, it's important to remember that these masters are illustrators and not designers. So, there are some designers that cannot illustrate. Okay, so next code natin, last code is Antonio Lopez plus 3 PM this to me. So, honing the skills required to commit concepts to paper is primarily about hand-to-eye coordination, which only comes with time and practice. So, kaya ngayon pa lang, para mahon na yung skills nyo na mag-sketch, okay? Mag-practice ng mag-practice. Because a carefully conceived drawing in which style, lines, design details, and proportions have been thoughtfully planned out will help make the next step, draping and or pattern making, move that much faster. And then lastly, taming textiles. So, textiles are a very tangible source of inspiration. So, nakikita na natin agad dun sa textile niya pa lang kung magiging maganda ba yung drape nung damit. So, much like the marble that informs the sculptor that it wants to become fabric will suggest what shapes and types of manipulation will transform it into a work of art. So, makikita mo na kung magiging flowy ba yung dress, ano na yung gagawin mong design. Paano naman kung magaspang yung fabric. So, alam mo na dati kung ano yung gagawin mong design, kung mabigat ba siya. So, di ba, meron tayong iba't ibang klase ng textile noon na na-discuss. And then, we have here, the same pattern for a garment will assume uniquely different characteristics depending on whether it is made of silk, chiffon, rib knit, ripstop nylon, lycra, taffeta, or wool felt. The designer can design with fabrics based on how they coordinate and contrast with each other. So, weight, body, and weave will provide further direction. Color, pattern, and texture also deliver a whole set of additional choices. So, the designer can take ideas for a collection into new territory by switching fabrics. By substituting fabrics like denim for taffeta, chiffon for Oxford cloth, leather for linen, and lace for tweed is one way to trigger unpredictable innovation. So, blocking with color, pattern, and texture is another way to shake things up. Combine these methods with techniques usually reserved for different fabrics and the design choices multiply. Apply a top-stitch flat felt seam commonly found on denim to silk or gandhi, and it brings together two seemingly unrelated areas of fashion, creating something fresh and unexpected. So, through textiles, designers are inspired. Okay, nagiging source of inspiration ang mga textile. So, kung maganda yung kulay ng fabric, maganda yung drape niya. So, they can start innovating and creating something fresh and unexpected design. So, that is for your Module 7. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. God bless. Keep safe.